in the book, you talk about generational shifts. Um, we're seeing them play out in the church now, younger generations leaving sooner and sooner. And a big part of the faithful population um, are leaving this earth and going into their next adventure. Um, in the book you wrote, my parents' generation left the church without leaving the pews. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think if I looked at a lot of my peers who were leaving the church, um, it was apparent that they didn't have lives where their family had reordered things around the faith. That there wasn't, I'm not gonna say they didn't believe, but it wasn't as important as a lot of other things. And I think, when you look at the studies too of a lot of those people that are in the pews that I say left the church in the sense that they didn't really believe what the church is anymore in a lot of ways. Some of the core beliefs of the church they just don't hold, and they've kind of co-opted the church to be something else for them, whether it's just part of their tradition or a cultural thing, or a vehicle for some sort of social justice or whatever that they believe in. It aligned with that, but the rest of it they kind of said, no, I don't need that anymore. And I think their kids knew that. I think that was obvious. I think it was obvious that to their kids that this wasn't something that you um, reordered your whole life around, and for its own sake, not to achieve some other end in the culture. um, I think also that generation wasn't catechized that well, and so like uh, where they didn't necessarily know a lot of the good responses to the questions the culture was asking. And so they felt ill equipped, I think, to be able to help their children through those things. And they ended up kind of just going with the culture as well with a lot of those challenges. And I think it just slowly eroded their confidence in their faith. And so their kids grow up to be adults and they're like, what's at stake here? Why should I bother with all of this, especially when it's really culturally unpopular? Um, so, I mean, I think that was already happening, when they were in the pews as a kid.